Right, so here's our plan for our battery and charging electrical system on the bike. So the battery's going to sit in here, like so. And as you can see, it's a dinky little battery. I don't know if it's going to be up to the job of running this bike, so that's what we're going to have a look at in this video and see if we can figure this out. But you'll notice what I've done is I've put two terminals here. So that's a positive terminal that is insulated from the frame, and that is a negative terminal that is connected to the frame, and underneath they come through, so I have two jump points. If I do have any battery issues when I'm out or anything like that, we can just jump start it from something else. Okay, so we've wired the bike up to a point, just to a point to actually get the thing running. So all you see here are just wires coming up just to power the coils and the ignition, and that's it, isn't it really? Generator as well, generator and ignition and coils, that's the only things that have been powered up. This is the generator light. That is our ignition, and that is our start button. Okay, so in the first instance we'll get rid of that because we're not using that until we know we can. We've got our old battery here running off a set of jump leads. Oh, and my engine earth. Sorry, that's my engine earth at the moment. So we'll go ground to ground, ashes to ashes, and we'll go dust to dust. We have voltage. Throttle. Do you want to go to throttle, Dave? Ignition. Our ignition light is on. Go on, engine, let's start it off. It's a runner, fantastic. It sounds sweet actually. The engine sounds dead quiet, as in a rattly sort of quiet thing. The exhausts, I think the exhausts are a little bit quiet as they are. They sound very much like
originals.
Like, yeah, they do. They sound like the originals in a way. They sound like a normal one of these bikes would sound. We are in a garage, so there is an echo effect in here. So what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it a bit louder. So I'm going to pull these cans off and see if there's any way that I can take the baffles out of them. Okay, but it's a runner. Sounds good. Okay, so we've just dropped the cans off and we're just looking at ways of de-baffling them. But, you know, we figured, well, we've got no cans on it. We may as well start it up and see what it sounds like.
There we go.
Yes, yeah, no, that's a little bit too noisy for the road. A little bit too noisy. Okay, we're going to de-baffle these cans. Now then, I can't really show you what these look like inside. Well, can we? You can see these cans have got a really small end on them. Go down the other end. So the way that this works, there we go. So you can see we can go right down the can. Halfway down there's a baffle that completely stops the flow, but around the outside then there's 3 tubes that the exhaust gas has to go up. Okay, we are going to just put a hole in that, the bit that goes straight out through the centre. I've just gone past outside with the no baffles on. Okay, so we're just going to put a hole in it and then we'll put it back on and see what it sounds like. Right, back on it again now. I'm by myself now, so this could be jiggering around a little bit on the camera, I'm afraid to say. So what I've done, or what we have done rather, is we put this pry bar right through it, and now I've put that through the baffle right in the centre, and that is about the same size as what comes out of the tailpipe. So now they are straight through up to that point, and obviously they have the baffle, what's left of the baffle in there as well. Okay, so that's that, and I'll show you how noisy it is. Now if I can do this by myself, we'll see. I'm not going to be able to, yeah, you're on the throttle with me, hold on one moment. Okay, so it is quite noisy, but I quite like the sound it's making at the minute, so I think we're going to leave it like that for the time being. We won't know until we get it out of the garage fully. You know, we get it outside and out on the road, and you know, ride it up and down a bit, and then we'll see if it is a little bit too noisy like that. Dave, my mate who was here a minute ago, has got a Ducati, and he's got a couple of end cans that he's taken off of that, which are a much bigger outlet than these, and so we're going to try them on it just to see, and we're going to match them up and see which one sounds better. They will make it sound more throaty and deep than these ones, but I quite like the sound this is making as it is. Okay, good, so that's where we are. It runs, it sounds pretty good to me. The engine sounds sweet as anything, which is fantastic. So the next thing, or what I'm going to do now, I'm not sure which bit of video this is going to be attached to, but what I am actually going to do now is have a look at some of this wiring. So this is the wiring coming out of the switchgear that I'm going to use. So I'm going to get a big bit of paper, and I'm going to draw myself a wiring diagram, and I am going to try and build a wiring loom for this thing that everything is in and it looks neat. Okay, I will speak to thou soon. Good evening again. Okay, so where are we? I had a load of video and I've just deleted it, which is a real shame. So this is just another quick catch-up video to show you where we are. We've been moving on. We have been moving on. The bike's running, as you've seen that, hopefully. So hopefully I've got a bit of that I can stitch together with this video. And at the minute, we're creating wiring looms at the moment, which is great. We've drawn one, we've made one. And here's my lovely rev counter bracket. Basically what we're doing is I've got some silicone on the back of the rev counter at the minute, so I'm just waiting for that to go off. So what we're doing is we're just putting waterproof connectors on all of the different bits. So for instance, all of the LEDs and things like that now have one connector coming down off of them. So that's the dashboard up there. The switch gear here has a connector coming off of it. The switch gear here, we're going to have to put two connectors because there's a lot of wires on that. But that's what we're in the process of doing at the minute. So we're making up the loom. What else have I not shown you yet? The battery. So the battery's mounted. So we've got it grounded out. Can't remember whether I showed you. We've got like sort of jump points underneath there anyway, just in case we have battery issues with that. This is just where we've had it running, so this is all coming off now and I'm actually wiring it up properly. The regulator's been mucking around. Now then, I was going to get all very, very clever and funky with the charging of this thing, because I'm a little bit worried about the battery. But what I've done in the end, rather than go through all of that, because I've deleted a load of video on that anyway, eventually the end result was, what I've done is I've bought an adjustable voltage regulator. So I'm going to try this. We'll put that on there. We'll do that. We'll do that with a video. Once the wiring is finished, we'll have another video with the wiring finished, just so you can see. But we'll put the voltage regulator on it, and we'll correct up the voltage, and then we'll connect up. We'll get the right sort of voltage that we want coming out of the bike. Make sure it's all pretty stable, and then we'll connect up our little battery here and see if it is actually man enough to do the job. So we haven't actually tried the battery yet on the bike. But that'll be for the next video. What else has been going on? The wings. I've made the wings actually as well. So you can see on the bottom here I now have two wings. This one here, I just sort of put some carbon fibre tape on it just to see what it'll look like. As for painting and colouring and doing whatever we're going to do, I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. So they look a little bit different. You can see they go around the bottom edge. They look pretty good on the bike. I like them. They'll take a bit of getting used to for some of you. But actually I think they look pretty good. Again, we won't get a true reflection of this until the paintwork's done again. Oh look, I've got to put a connection on the end of that. There you go, that's something I can do. I'll do that this evening. Regarding our list though, we're actually doing pretty good on the list. So mounting the fairing, I'm just going to bolt the fairing on where the brackets are, so I'm not going to faff around any more than that. So that's pretty much done. We've modified the fairing, we've made the wings up on the front, which is good. So we've done those two bits. These bits down here really aren't anything at all. And then at the minute we're on the wiring loom, aren't we? So we're in the wiring loom stages of it, and we're proper. I mean, if you think about it, the full service is just about done as well, because I've done everything on the way up. So in reality, our lists are getting smaller and smaller. I think what we'll do when the wiring loom is done, because there are a few things that are thrown up. I've had a major engineering problem with my rear suspension. But I knew this was going to happen. I had this thought months ago, and I thought, you know what, I've made this wrong. I've not made it wrong, I've just made a bit of it. I need to remake a bit of it because it's not strong enough. But we'll come to that. I'll show you that on another video. But it's a right pain because I hate going back over things that I've already made, if you know what I mean. I like doing things once and then just leaving them be. That I'm going to have to do again, which is a shame because it's been painted and everything else as well. So, but never mind. And I'm not so sure. I've got to wait until I get the thing done, so I can start the thing up to see what this gear lever is going to be like as well. I'm a bit worried the gear linkage might be too stiff. I might have to change it a little bit to give myself a little bit more leverage on it. But I don't know. We'll see. We're going to wait and see when the bike's running and see what it actually feels like when we can actually engage a gear and see. Okay, so we're not worried about the gear lever as such. We do have to do the rear suspension. I'll talk about that on another video. But as you can see, she's coming together pretty well. I had to get another speedo, so I mounted the bike speedo on there, fitted the generator like the You have to excuse me, my legs are seizing up. Fitted the pulse generator on the disc for my speedo pickup, and I was going to fit the actual pickup down here, make a little bracket for it down here, and I tried it and the bloody thing didn't work, did it? As in, it couldn't, it was a wireless one, the speedo couldn't recognise a message from the signal all the way down there. Bearing in mind I have got it sat on top of this blooming aluminium top clamp as well. So I've had to buy another one with a wire on it now, so I have a wired one now. So I'll just fit that on there and sit dead and see how that works. Okay, so that's it really. It's just this is just another video, nothing going on. The loom. So making the loom, I'll tell you what, I'll just show you how I'm connecting these things up. If you've not seen this doing before, it's quite handy. 2 seconds. Right then, just to show you what's going on with this loom then. So I've bought an absolute crap load of connectors from Chinese eBay. And they were ever so cheap, but they look pretty good actually. They look like they're going to do the job, but I don't know how good they'll be. Again, we'll have to wait until we get them vibrating around on the bike to see how good they actually will be. But they are waterproof, yeah. So we can sort of join bits of our loom together, and you can see what I'm doing with the loom. I'm putting loads of clips on all of the bits that are going to go onto the loom. Then obviously when I make the full loom, then I'll put loads of these on the loom. And then I can just plug it all in. But just to give you a quick rundown, if you've never seen this sort of thing before, you never know. A piece of wire then, so chop off my piece of wire to how I want it. Strip it. Okay. So stripped. This is like a little waterproof bit. You're probably better off doing that before you strip it really, but there you go. So that goes onto the wire itself. Okay. And then we get one of our ends, and you see the big clippy bit here, and then there's a small clippy bit. So the small clippy bit is going to go around the wire, and the big clippy bit is going to clip it to the or join it, clip it to the loop, to the wire, and the hold on to the little waterproof bit on there as well. And we need a pair of pliers. There's a pair that'll do the job. Okay. He says, and then just clamp it up, and Bob's your uncle. There you go. You look. So we got our wire with our waterproof bit there joined onto our connector, and then this wood, I'm not going to clip it in because they do actually go in and stay in, but this is a female one, so that would just push into the back of that. Oh, sorry about that, ran out of video again, ran out of space again on my phone. I'm going to have to sort it out, aren't I? So, just to give you an idea then, that's how we clip, that's how the wiring works. And then for instance, there is the plug, and if you look down, you can see it's all waterproofed in the back of it as well. So that there is actually the plug for the switchgear on the throttle side. Okay, so you're getting a general idea about what's going on. Oh, that's where it is at the moment. So I'm going to go in and make a video now because I'm feeling worn out. I am, and I'm afraid to say the bike, oh excuse me, might have to take a little bit of a back seat for a while. So although it's actually moving on pretty well at the minute, I'm going to have to slow down a little bit on what I'm doing. I won't be able to spend quite so much time on it. But we'll be back out here as soon as we can again. and yeah, maybe tidy up this mess. Look at that, spider's loom over there. The reason I got this is I'm just stripping bits of wire out that I need for the bike. Seems like the best way of doing it. But things moving on, things looking good. Yeah, I'm very pleased with what's going on at the minute. Really pissed off with the rear suspension. I knew it was going to happen. It was inevitable at some point or other something like this would happen. But it's not the end of the world, and we shall overcome. So I will see you again shortly. Okay, bye bye.